Hello there everyone. Hope you're all well and safe and healthy. So, while we're all stuck in quarantine, the world looks at how it will need to be changed. Politicians are making a plan with virologists of how to open the economy and the normal day to life again. While some people are furious about the governmental restrictions, especially in more conservative countries, the overall roadmap of how we all approach the problem together is clear. Every person adapts his or her behavior accordingly in order to help bring a better peace for this society. Now, while we are all hoping for the best, we are in this for quite a few months, but the restrictions and just the natural distancing between the people is a changed social norm by then. While most people felt it's a weird thing to not give hands, to wear masks, and to have a conscious distance between the people, the society gets used to that behavior. This habit is now in everybody's lives, for better or for worse. In some industries, not touching or no close body contact is a rather large problem. If you look at dancing, contact sports, saunas, nurses or kindergarten teachers, this contact is impossible to negate. How can a room or a physical space help with reducing the contact in a situation like this and help those people to not fall into the same problem a few decades from now? Thinking about contact reduction is a very straightforward thing. Creating walls, borders, boundaries and distances between two humans is a direct reaction to that. However, this crisis will be over one day, and then what? You have a building that is used for one purpose in times of crisis and is completely unusable afterwards, a waste of material, time and money. The architecture would have managed to be perfect in that still stand of time. And after that, the time is over, it's useless. A failure in design and just hyping on one point of overreaction. Then, when built, those buildings are either destroyed or reused and are not really living up to its usage in the first place. A fun, costly little expensive experiment.
Nice job, team.
But what if there's a gradient between those two options? A building that is possible to survive during a pandemic, be it from a virus, a flu, a more airborne virus, a more deadlier one, a one with a more stronger incubation period, or maybe even a zombie apocalypse. Okay, fine, but when this space is in peace times, can it also have a function during that time? So, to basically be a multifunctional and adaptable object, help during the pandemic, but on the other hand also give something back to the people during the normal times. Like an Italian place, that is a restaurant during the winter and an ice cream kiosk during the summer. The usage is cyclically adapted to its needs and, in both cases, useful. A gradient of usage is prominent that helps the business out. Maybe the same kind of idea could be adapted in architecture. If general hallways and entrances could not only function as a monotone thing, but instead being a multi-use, then the outcome would be that it can serve in times of crisis as a perfectly functional building, and in times of normality as a space extender. There are already a few examples that exist today inside of space and double usage, even during the day or during normal seasonal themes. The one thing that makes it normal is because we are used to seeing it like that. Spaces like fanfares, markets, resorts, disco avenues feel completely out of place when people are there during the times when they're not seasonally used. If you go to a fish market at a closing time, you see people packing up, removing the not used fish and liquids and dispose them. A rather ugly look for someone who is not really used to that view. So it comes quite alien and uneasy to us. However, a market that thrives in fresh food, open vendors, many people, and options to eat and go out is a rather natural sight to us. Same with someone who is inside a rough housing construction. Dirt, bricks, and concrete is everywhere and has a first alien smell. And also the unfinished structures do not resemble the final idea of home that we are experiencing. The warm, cozy, and quiet house is completely abundant in this picture. However, it is also the result of this weird endeavor of creating the idea of concrete, construction, thermal solutions, and design spaces in the first place. We see that things are not necessarily what they seem to be. Places and behaviors that are normal are rethought. The same it is true with the architectural place. The space in front of the supermarket suddenly turns into a waiting area. Elevators are singular use only. Doorknobs are the devil's feet, and tight spaces in restaurants are negligible. Our society is a social construct, one that only works because we are believing in it. When this social construct is damaged or broken, we tend to see things in a new, innovative way, but we are also hostile towards change. The human mind is not adapted to change itself rapidly. If we would live back in the 1600s, it would be completely normal to have slavery as the normal point of view for every human, and nothing bad would be seen by it. Only when we are waking up about it, and seeing that we are hurting people and create suffering, we start to slowly change our behavior, which actually took a long time. Yuval Noah Harari talks about that in quite the extension in his books Sapiens and Homo Deus. What if we could deconstruct those ideas that are laid onto us by the architectural world? All the current constructions that we are seeing mostly are built 50 to 100 years ago, which lead to certain limitations like openings and budget deficits for its current form. Small staircases were designed that way in order to give more people room per square meter for the residential areas that pay. It is normal to be budgeting a house to its maximized profit margins. The city gives orders for sizes so that a building is not completely used for capitalistic benefits. Squares, open spaces, and public cityscapes are all potential short-term real estate for people that all want to build upon them. However, they do destroy the overall value of the city itself, so those rules that are put in place make sense. If the public opinion changes for the more open spaces now, that is what people would like to buy. For example, if I stand in front of a building and think, well, this thing would not hold up in a pandemic, I have a logical price reduction in the buyer's minds. If I present a building, however, that could give us the best of both worlds, an architecture that is generous, open, and light during the normal times, but can also offer social events, face-to-face communications, as well as safety during those pandemics. If the city does not publish laws of change for these things, the general sense of the population will do it. Thus, a normal need for the open spaces and clean surfaces just comes by itself. It is actually a game theoretical standpoint as well, but that's something for another video. A house that would not be approved of those standards anymore would simply be something no one wants to live in. Just like a house with horrible heating standards or asbestos. While the state intervened in those situations, the public also acted, and wants less rent or renovation when moving into this building. A certain gradient, not only in the building functions like hallways and connection zones, needs to be established, but also in the overall functions of the building. Even diagrammatic connections need to be unwebbed and kept on a distance. Going from a private space directly into public? Well, that's fine, but maybe the other way around needs to have some kind of cushion for like a feather to fall, if you know what I mean. Well, it looks like there needs to be a new normal established in today's society. We need to adapt according to it, to strive for innovation and take risks for improvement. So, with that said, thank you very much for watching, stay healthy, and see you in the next one.